Well, I'm delighted to say I'm now joined by head of the Champagne Club Syndicate, Steve Fluin, who of course owns all the Bubbly dogs. How are you, Steve, first of all? How's lockdown and everything been for you?
Oh, I'm absolutely fine, Julie. We haven't struggled too much during lockdown. Jill and I are both retired, so we're sort of used to doing what we need to do and what we want to do. And the grandchildren have been off school, all five of them, so we spent a lot of time with the grandchildren. But to be honest, the whole lockdown helped me reevaluate where we are in greyhound racing, and has resulted in us doing a bit more investment in real good quality dogs, because I realised how much I missed it when it was off for 2 months.
And that means that you could have up to 5 going to the Star Sports Derby for you. I'm going to start with the obvious one, which is Bubbly Dave. He's just finished second in the Monmore Stayers final. Unfortunately, he was favourite, but he didn't come away, did he? What did you make of that run?
No, it was a bit disappointing, because he'd really shown great talent in the heats and semi-final to win both, and we had high hopes if we came away okay. There wasn't much that could stop us from catching them, but he lost his action at the first bend and went wide. And then he had basically a wall of dogs to chase. He came through them and made a gallant effort, but could only make second place because Kevin Hutton's dog had obviously got away. And we beat that dog in the first round. So I think if we'd have had a decent break, we probably could have won that. But we weren't disappointed. He's given us a fantastic 3 weeks, in memory to start off with, of course, for Dave Collins, who he's named after, who passed away during COVID. But he really is a cracking dog. Regarding the Derby, it's an interesting decision. I'm not sure one that everyone will agree with, to go for the Derby with him, because he is notoriously slow to get into his real full gears. But when you look at the Derby and you think, well, there's always the first 3 qualify, and in most races, if you watch his Irish form, he always comes through to either win, come second, or close up. And I can't imagine too many heats where 3 dogs will finish in front of him at 500 metres, which means we could sneak through and get the first ever Bubbly Derby finalist. We've had a number of semi-finalists and always been unlucky not to reach the big one. But he strikes me as a dog that's going to be hard to keep out of frame.
He's very strong over that 630 metres at Monmore. Is he going to be one that we're just going to expect to see coming from off the pace? You're not hoping to find a bit of early with him?
Well, you live in hope that dogs change their running style and can do it at both ends. But in reality, the reason lots of dogs finish strong is because they start slowly. He builds up a head of steam, and he's got great sat-nav. So I don't, even round Nottingham over 500 metres, he won't be far off the pace, but coming around the second, third, and obviously last bends, if he gets a run through them, he's powerful, and he'll be 2 for 1 coming for the line.
He's as short as 25 to 1 for you with Star Sports for the Derby. Is that a bet, do you think?
I'm on at 66 to 1. And I told a lot of people when I was trying to buy him that not only did I think he was a dog for all distances, and we didn't know quite how far he'd get, but irrespective of what his early plans were, we were going to enter him for the Derby just for the crack, as the Irish say.
Which so you guys definitely have.
Yes, 25 to 1's not a great price. I think that's a weight of money from. There's 100 people involved in that dog, and there's 1,000 people in the club. So if they all have a small bet, it amounts to money. So the bookies are obviously going to be cautious. I mean, we had a 4-timer at Romford 2 weeks ago. 4 Bubblies ran and won on the Monday. It's 599 to 1 accumulator. And the number of people that were on doubles, trebles, accumulators, I got 2 emails from different bookmakers saying we'd really done some damage. So it's all about volume.
Yeah, and obviously a lot of owners involved. Let's talk about another one that's had plenty of races for you, Bubbly Kane. He's a January 2018. He's available at a much bigger price, 125 to 1. Had 11 races for you. One of those was at Monmore, the rest at Romford. Now, when he hit the scene, made his debut, it was last October at Romford, 23.98, winning an open race. You must have been very excited about this dog.
Yeah, he's one of my favourite dogs of the current crop of Bubblies, and he's been very unlucky in trap draws, and a little bit of controversy about how the draws are at the moment, with sometimes rails to middle runners in trap 1 and middle to rails in trap 3, and whether there should be some view of the seeding of these open races. The reason he's going to be as big a price as that is we genuinely don't know at this moment if he is a 500-metre runner. Every time we've gone to step him up, he's ended up with a niggle by getting knocked up over or knocked around. So the plan is he's going for the guides and doles over 400 because he's still got electric pace. He'd be one of the very best dogs around Romford. And as soon as that's over, we're gonna give him a trial and find out. But you would know, as many people watching this video would know, that there's been good Derby winners off the front. Dogs that don't really get the trip. I mean, if you go back to, everyone talks about Westmead Hawk, but of course, Westmead Lord won the Derby just after the Hawks, and he didn't stay. He barely stayed Romford, but off the front, it's another game. So we're gonna, if we don't run him in the Derby, we'll certainly run him in the sprint competition over 264 because he is one of those that's got enough early to be in both.
Another fairly new dog for the Bubbly Club is Bubbly Bollinger, who is just going to turn 2 when the Derby starts. It's in October 2018. Had a couple of races at Romford for you, but found trouble in both of those. Maybe not really been able to show what he can do.
No, Michael Dunphy from the Droopy Stud sent him across as a potential Derby dog. The COVID situation has slowed down some of the pups, so he's only 2 and just recently coming up 2 and just recently made his debut. When we gave him his trials around Romford, he was doing 23.92s and 23.95, so we knew he could run. We also had a little bit of a concern though because he was doing really fast times off of slow breaks. A, that told us he might not be a Romford dog. B, it tells us he's probably going to be a really good Nottingham type dog over 500. He's in the Romford Puppy Cup, and after that, as soon as he's ready, we'll be trialling him around Nottingham, and I'll be hugely surprised if not only he goes well, but I think he'll be fancied to go a long way in the Derby. He's a very fast dog.
Okay, one to look forward to. And Bubbly Magnum, also a 2-year-old, just as the Derby starts, not raced yet for you.
No, well, to be honest, I had an option to buy him just before lockdown. And the guy who had him in Ireland was asking, what I thought was probably too much money. And then all of a sudden lockdown came and he had to stop getting the dog ready. And there was no action. Coming out of lockdown, he was very keen to re-engage. We gave him a couple of trials in Ireland and he was just really fast, and we straight away thought Derby dog. And then I realised he's also of an age to be in the Romford Puppy Cup, which would be a great bit of experience. He has got more early than the Bollinger dog. And I think he stays just as well. I couldn't honestly be as clear about his chances as I could about Bollinger's for being in the Derby, but I'd be very surprised if he wouldn't be alongside him at 2 years old at Nottingham.
Wow. Bubbly Maverick as well is just a month old at September 18. Had 6 races at Romford, winning 1. Is he a potential Derby entry?
Believe it or not, it doesn't look like it on his form, but this dog can run, and we were very unlucky because he got an injury. Again, maybe not a Romford dog, but because Romford's our home track, we tend to get dogs ready there. And Paul's advice was, if you are patient and you wait with this dog, he will be ready for the Derby. So we've been doing huge amounts of work with him in the background. And we've already decided, providing everything stays sound between now and entry time, we're going to pay the price and put him in because, again, on the gallops, as they say, he's showing a huge amount of talent.
Wow. So you could have a team of 5. Steve, I've never owned a Derby dog at all, but people tell me that the worst stage to go out is the semi-finals. Given that, you've been pretty unlucky in the Derby, haven't you?
Yeah, well, I mean, intrinsically, the closest we truly got was with Bubbly Classic some years ago at Wimbledon. Sorry, not Bubbly Classic, Bubbly Phoenix. Bubbly Phoenix won his quarter-final with very fast time and then was very unlucky to get taken out of the first bend in the semi-final. And then he did the fastest time in the final. Bubbly Classic also got to a semi-final. Bubbly Maestro got into semi-finals. One other dog I've forgotten got into a semi-final. So we've been there and thereabouts a few times, and it would be an amazing thrill to get into the first 6. Just to be in the final would be incredible. Probably the biggest disappointment was Bubbly Bluebird was one of the best, if not the best greyhound the club's ever owned. And he had a terrible bit of luck at Toaster when, he was at the top of his game, when obviously the Irish dog fought him on the corner. And there was no recovering from that. So if we can get one of this team through, you're going to see an awful lot of happy faces and a lot of fun.
Well, that's the thing with the Bubbly Club. All these dogs are so well supported, and the passion behind them is incredible. So it would mean, well, a lot to everybody if you made it. And I really wish you all the best. You throw enough darts, Steve, you'll get there in the end, that's for sure. And it looks like you've got a nice team this year. So good luck, and fingers crossed, all being well, I'll see you at Nottingham.
Can I give you one more little to look out for?
Yes.
Look out for a bitch called Bubbly Cristal. And for those of you that know champagne, that's the most expensive and best champagne you can buy. Everyone knows over the years I wanted to win the golden jacket at Crayford. We won it and got disqualified. This is the 2021 golden jacket winner.
Oh, okay.
Here first, Bubbly Cristal.
Need to get our bets on before the rest of the Bubbly Club then, by the sounds of it. Thank you so much, Steve. Take care.
Take care. Bye.